The second thing that I'm eager to mention at the offset is that the focus of this evening will be on our pre-kindergarten classrooms. Marble Hill Nursery School also does offer a private threes program. Unfortunately, we do not have the city's free pre-K, 3K program in our district yet. Um, However, we have 2 classrooms, 40 available seats for the city's free pre-K for all universal pre-kindergarten program. And 6 hours and 20 minutes a day. And we will be serving children in September who were born in 2017. If you would like to learn more about our threes program, or you have questions, or if you have any questions at all that don't get answered this evening, please email me. The school's email address will be in the chat box. It's marblehill5470@aol.com. Love to talk about this stuff. Love to answer questions. So feel free at any time, please. The plan for this evening is that I will talk to you briefly about the school's history and philosophy. You're going to hear from 2 of our current parents. You're going to meet Chris Casorla, our child development specialist and mental health consultant. You're going to meet our 2 wonderful pre-kindergarten teachers, and you will see a short video. We plan to wait until that part of the program is over to answer questions. Maybe some of your questions will get answered along the way. Then we will take some time, of course, for that as well. My name is David Bleeker Adams. I have a master's from Bank Street College in early childhood education. I was a preschool teacher and also worked in the museum setting doing educational programming for about 25 years. I had 5 wonderful years as a stay-home parent. And it was at that time that I discovered Marble Hill Nursery School. Both of my daughters, who are now in college, attended Marble Hill Nursery School. And I chose it for reasons that I think are still very relevant and remain very much true of the school. I chose it because it felt like a very warm, friendly environment for both children and adults, and because of the philosophy of the school, which is very much in line with my own philosophy as a teacher. For 10 years, I was a head teacher here in a pre-kindergarten classroom, and for the last 2 years, I've been the director. Marble Hill Nursery School was founded in 1953 when the Marble Hill houses were built. The city actually built a space for a nursery school into the Marble Hill houses, and I think they did a very nice job. We have 3 large, well-lit classrooms. We have our own outdoor space. We have a very nice library, which you can see behind me. So it's really a nice facility. The school itself was started by parents in the houses and in the surrounding neighborhood as a parent cooperative. Parent involvement remains a huge part of who we are at Marble Hill Nursery School. We have a board which discusses and signs off on every important decision, which is entirely comprised of parents, mostly current parents, and a few alumni parents. I feel about Marble Hill Nursery School that it's a little gem, and I'm glad you've found your way to us. I think of our main strengths as certainly our staff. We have a very dedicated and warm and nurturing staff, our head teachers, our assistant teachers, and very much equally important, certainly, one of the things that has always characterized Marble Hill Nursery School is that we serve a very diverse group of families. Diverse in every sense of the word, in terms of backgrounds, socioeconomically, types of families. I think it's crucially important for our children, regardless of their background, to be in classrooms that are diverse and to grow up appreciating, understanding, and really appreciating each other's differences. Um, the other strength that I feel is very much true of Marble Hill Nursery School. It's been very important here for a long time. And I think it's actually increasingly rare in schools, is that we adhere to the progressive philosophy of education. The progressive movement began in the early 1900s. It's associated with Bank Street College, which has been kind of a flag bearer of progressive education for a long time. Our school has a lot of historical connections with Bank Street College. And the progressive approach has a couple of distinguishing characteristics. It's a very child-centered approach. Here we consider every child to be composed of every child is unique, has unique needs, unique strengths. We get to know each child. We make sure our school works for each child. This is not a place where we take a cookie cutter approach, one size fits all. You're not going to come in and see all the children sitting down doing the exact same thing in art or doing the same worksheet. We really value the unique individuality of our children and of their families. Also characteristic of the progressive approach is the belief that children learn best through hands-on engagement. That when a child makes a discovery, him or herself, that's how they really integrate knowledge into their being, whether it's mixing different colors of paint or figuring out how to make a building stand up. Children are actively engaged with materials here. That's the real meat and potatoes of our day. Open work times in which teachers put out art activities. We do a lot of art here. Put out other activities, help children become aware of the discoveries they're making, help to articulate them for children. But the children are the ones who are making the choices and making the discoveries. And lastly, an important characteristic of progressive education and of Marble Hill Nursery School is that we really want to look at the whole child and how all areas of development are important and interact. So of course, cognition is important. And it seems more and more that, even in kindergarten, they're starting to think about tests and tests that are going to be down the road. And yes, of course, we believe that children's mental development is crucial and very exciting part of what happens. But we want to look at the whole child: language development, social skills, motor development, large motor coordination, fine motor skills, emotional health and well-being, being able to speak up when you need to express something, being able to acknowledge other people's feelings. All these different areas of development can be looked at separately, but of course they're all really interconnected and they make the children who they are. And we want children to have those skills, language skills, social skills, so that they feel comfortable in a group, so that they feel that school is a place where they know how it works, they know what to do, they're good at school. We want to take the time to help children talk through the kinds of day-to-day issues that come up. What do you do when somebody grabs something that you have? What do you do when you really want something somebody else has? What do you do when somebody knocks over something you've just built? And that having that comfort of how to live and be in a group in a positive way is more important for ensuring the future success of students than anything else that we can do here. And that's our goal, to turn out children that love school, feel self-confident, feel comfortable as they go forth. We have, it was mentioned in the chat box when as the meeting was starting out, we have up to 20 seats. We usually are able to fill 19-20 seats in each of our classrooms. We have 3 teachers. Even if we have, even some years when we couldn't quite be fully enrolled, we always had 3 teachers. So it's important to have that good student-teacher ratio, which somebody mentioned, for making sure that every child connects with a teacher and gets the attention he or she needs. Each one of our classrooms also has a teacher who is fluent in Spanish. Before I introduce one of our parents, I just wanted to briefly mention something because I felt it should be here somewhere. Marble Hill Nursery School also offers the Cool Culture card to our families. We participate in a program where every family receives a card for free, which admits up to 5 family members and or friends to 90 of New York City's cultural institutions, museums, botanical gardens, and zoos. And I think these days, particularly the outdoor places like Wave Hill and New York Botanical Garden and Central Park Zoo are great. So that's also a part of our program here. And it is my pleasure now to introduce to you Renee Peña-Lopez, who has been a parent here for the last 2 years and served on our board both years, and this year is the co-president of our board of directors. Thank you, Renee.
Hi, perfect timing. My internet just like buzzed out and came back on. Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Renee Peña-Lopez. I have a daughter in room 1. I'm the co-president of the board. It is an honor to welcome you to the open house today. On behalf of the board, welcome. Parent involvement, as David mentioned, is a big part of Marble Hill. It's one of the reasons we chose Marble Hill, because we strongly, as a family, believe in participating in our child's education. And so as a parent cooperative, you have that wonderful opportunity to do so. Also, you also have an opportunity to participate in your child's classroom. This year has been an exception to the year, but on a typical basis, you're able to. It's one of the ways to get involved, and I highly suggest to parents, if you're new to the school, to join the board. And I was asked earlier about like why we chose Marble Hill, and one of the reasons we chose Marble Hill for our child is because they really truly saw the nature of my daughter, and all the ways to challenge her and expand her skills, both socially and academically. And there hasn't been a day, honestly, she's had not said, I don't want to go to school. It's usually like, is it school? Is it school? Is it school? So on behalf of the board, once again, welcome to learn more about Marble Hill. And as David said, you're welcome to email him. It's in the chat. And yeah. So I would like to pass this on, the baton, the virtual mic, to John Harris, who is a Marble Hill alum, and he is a fellow pre-K parent as well as a board member.
Hey, how you doing? I just unmuted myself. So hi, I'm John Harris, John Maynard Harris, and I am an alumnus of this institution. I'm old. I went here in 1970, and my niece went here in 1988, and my daughter's here now. I want to talk about what I love about school, and I could, of course, give you some stories, but I'm not going to do that. Not necessarily. I don't think I have enough time. Maybe I do. At the end, I will. Why I chose this school, in part, is because it is a legacy. I think it contributed greatly to who I am, but I also chose the school because it's consistent. It gave a sense of continuity of what we do at our home. And the daycare gave us a sense of continuity before Marble Hill. Marble Hill was very much similar to what we do at our home, and I'll discuss that, I guess, in a moment. And of course, the new school my daughter's going to is similar. So if you are the type of person who likes, for example, stations, at home we do a lot of stations. We do art stations, music stations, dance stations, reading stations, periodically. And we did that here. She had that at her daycare, and they have it here as well. But what I love about it is not just the stations, but the sense of family and care that my daughter had here at this school at Marble Hill is exactly what she had at home. And I think that's just so important. If you're a parent who wants to leave your child, and I think they did a very good job. This year, I think, exhibited what was so great about the school, because they planned and executed on the fly, something that kept our kids remarkably safe. And not only that, I mean, they may have been safe, but parents could have been worried about it. We weren't worried because we knew they had done such a great job. And that sort of consistency, that sort of continuity is what we've come to expect from Marble Hill Elementary School. I love that my daughter continued her growth, her unparalleled growth here in Marble Hill. She remembers fondly all her teachers. She just, but I also want to add that this is the thing that makes us want to come back. If we have another child, we would try to get the child back here, I guess. But I also want to say a few of the things that are important about me as a parent, and I guess what maybe parents might be expecting or fearful of. I think that there is no need, I found no need to advocate for my child. I think my child, yes, my child is very strong. But my wife is very affable, but she's very nice. But I didn't feel the need to really get so, I wouldn't say involved, but intrusive, because my daughter and the school took care of every need. I really felt good about that. If you're looking for parental involvement, if you're looking for parental connections, that's definitely going to be had here. That I can say. I want to address diversity, because as a Black male, as an African American, African Caribbean, I also wanted to say that I want to see a diverse and very African American as well representation, because we don't want from our kids a confirmation bias of sorts, where they, how shall I say, they everything that they learn at home, they learn here. I guess I'm sort of contradicting myself, but really not, because my daughter was challenged here in a way. She got what she got at home, yes, it's true, but she also got things that were different, cultures that were different from our home culture, and that only made her stronger. Today was a perfect example. Something weird happened. She said, my daughter is very, I don't know what she is, but she said something like, we were talking about heck. And she said, oh, heck's, someone in our family said, heck is a curse. And Nina said, no, heck is not a curse. It's used somewhere in German culture. Now, I don't know where she got that from. And it's probably not, obviously not true, but she does tend to pull from elsewhere to make her points. And that elsewhere is Marble Hill. So I am very thankful my daughter's here. I do want more children here that reflect Marble Hill Nursery School, but I didn't have to advocate for that, maybe selfishly, because my daughter was very secure here. And I hope I've made the case that this is a good school to attend. Thank you so much. Can't hear you.
Oh, David, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
All
ahead. David, speak. David, we can't hear you.
all right. Do you hear me? Very good. Thank you so much, John. The very meaningful remarks. You're hearing a lot of things, I hope, that will make Marble Hill Nursery School seem special to you. Certainly another one of them is the longtime presence of our child development mental health specialist, Chris Casorla. And she's going to introduce herself to you and tell you a little bit about her role here. Thank you, Chris.
Hi, good evening, everyone. As David mentioned, my name is Chris Casorla. By training, I'm a school psychologist, and for the past 20 years, I have been at Marble Hill part-time as he mentioned, the child development specialist and mental health consultant. Now, what the heck does that mean? That's the technical description, but my description is very simple. I see myself as a professional partner. And what I try to do is partner with all of the people involved at the school, so that I try to partner with the teachers. Um, if they have any questions, if they have any issues, if there's anything challenging in the classroom, we meet and we talk about it. If I go into the classrooms and I have a question or a concern, I will share that with them. I partner with the children. I come into the classrooms. I know each child in the classroom individually. And my perspective is, and Marble Hill's perspective is, we deal with and we educate children, not address behaviors. And that, so that part of what I do is try to support the children as well. If someone needs some extra support, I give them the extra one-to-one attention that, that they may require. And to the end that we've all been talking about, I also have a weekly feelings group where the children get to, and I talk about feelings, label feelings, get to know the names of feelings, what causes those feelings inside of us. Every child, again, very typically for all children, are on all different levels of understanding. All of them are fine. And we try to set up, I think, a lot of the kind of environment that John was just talking about, where children learn about each other's differences that they're curious about. They also learn about all the ways in which they're similar. They learn how to get along with one another. And have an opportunity to address the kinds of things and issues that children this age are grappling with intellectually and emotionally. And of course, the other very important partner is the parents and the caregivers. And to that end, I am available to partner with you in a bunch of different ways. I'm certainly available to speak with you individually. If you have a question about child development, if you have a concern about anything, if there's something you feel we need to know, if there's a crisis going on in your family where your child may need some extra support, or if you're just interested in talking about child development and wondering why your very cooperative, compliant 3-year-old is now saying no to everything and challenging everything in a way very unusual for them, give me a call and we can talk about it. I'm available by phone. Hopefully in September, I'll be available in person again, which would be lovely. So I'm available for individual sessions. Also, I am planning that in September, we'll be able to have our parent coffee hour, where there is actually coffee and really good cake once a week, and parents can drop by and talk with each other and with me about typical child rearing concerns or funny stories about what's happening, or just have time to relax with one another. It's very casual. You can bring your babies, you can bring your younger children, you can bring your mother who's visiting. If you need to leave early, it's fine. It's a kind of trying to accommodate the needs and the real life situations of parents. And I also do parent workshops on specific topics. There's one coming up next week about, it's called Love and Limit Setting the Delicate Balance. And it's about how to balance making sure our children have the two necessary ingredients to healthy development, which is nurturing, support, and love, and knowing the limitations and being able to accept limits and structure in their lives, and how that helps them to grow and thrive. Other meetings we've had have been preparing yourselves and your children for kindergarten. We've done some on sibling rivalry. We've done some on toileting, eating, and sleeping issues. So those are ones that you can pick and choose depending upon what's going on and what your individual situation is. So that in a nutshell is what I do at Marble Hill, and I very much hope to see you in September.
Thank you very much, Chris. Going back years ago as a parent, and for many years as a teacher, and now as a director, I've learned a tremendous amount from Chris. I've had very much on my mind this evening the long history of Marble Hill Nursery School, and I'd like to take a few minutes now to talk about recent history and operating the school during the pandemic. Here at Marble Hill Nursery School, we have gone beyond the requirements of the New York City Department of Education, New York State Department of Health. In a number of ways, we have air filters in each classroom. In addition, of course, to daily cleaning, we have a daily electrostatic spraying. It's sort of like an extra layer of disinfectant each day. And I think things have gone very well this year, better than I expected, certainly last summer when things were so uncertain. We've had one closure for 5 days. So I think that's in total with both classrooms, and I think that's excellent. It was one positive that was not related to anything here and did not spread in our community. And parents this year, I'm very grateful to them. They've been erring on the side of caution. We've had parents, children, staff opting to be tested frequently, and they've all been negative. So it's been a good year in that regard. I also think it's been a good year in terms of the children and the experience they're having. Our teachers, I think, have done a wonderful job of figuring out how to make classrooms more open, more airy, how to stock the classrooms with materials that are easily cleaned and disinfected. They have a whole schedule of what to clean when, and they clean frequently. And that means that children are still getting to play with things and getting to play with each other. And I thought a lot last summer about the fact that if we're going to do this, if we're going to try to figure out how to make school work, it has to be fun and engaging for the children, because otherwise, why are we doing this? So I think it has been a very good year here at Marble Hill Nursery School. What will next year be like? I can't tell you for sure. Recently, the mayor announced that it's going to be a normal school year next year. But in my opinion, the mayor's had a bit of a history of sort of somewhat rash pronouncements. And then the governor steps in and says, well, wait a minute. So we will see. But Marble Hill Nursery School is a public school. And so when you hear things in coming months, when you hear things over the summer about decisions that are made about schools and what public schools and what they're going to look like, you will know that that applies to us, and you will have a sense of what it's going to be like. And we'll, we're all hoping for things that feel more normal, for return to things that are more normal. But this has unfolded at its own pace. And so we'll just wait and see. But meanwhile, I think this actually has been, nonetheless, a good year here. All right, I've been making you wait to meet our teachers. Those of you who haven't already, um, uh, we have two wonderful head teachers, Natasha Moore and Michelle Zavala, and I'm not actually sure which one is going to go first, or we could put you both up on the screen. They're going to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about their classrooms and Marble Hill Nursery School. Would you like to go first, Michelle?
Why not? Room one, right?
All right, room one, yes.
Room one. Well, so hi, everyone. I see some familiar faces, some current parents of mine. Hi, John. Hi, Renee, and some returning parents that I had last year. Hi, Nell. Hi, Clarence. How you doing? So I am the UPK head teacher in room one, and I'd like to just tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll get into kind of a run through of the flow of our day. So I have a master's in early childhood education from Lehman College, and this is my second school year working at Marble Hill. So last year, during the height of everything, was my first year at Marble Hill, which was jarring to say the least, but you know, we made the best of it, and we're doing, like David said, trying to keep everything fun and as close to normal as possible. I love teaching pre-K. I think pre-K is really my niche grade. Every day is different, every day is new, every day is fun. There's just so much unknown with working with 4-year-olds, because you never know what they're going to say, you never know what they're going to do, and they discover new things, and to see that discovery in their faces, that wow moment, I think is really worthwhile. So that's one of the reasons why I really like teaching pre-K. So I'll go into the schedule, kind of a flow of the day. Natasha's class her flow of the day is a little bit different, but essentially we do the same things every day. We just do them in a different order. So first, the children come in. Currently, they're taking temperatures and things like that. They come in, they'll put their things away in their cubby during the winter months. Coats and boots and things like that get put away. Then they'll come into the classroom, wash hands, and then we have a free play where children can play at the tables, play at blocks, science, library, whatever they decide. So then after free play, we'll go into morning meeting. We'll clean up and we'll go to morning meeting, and that's where we do our calendar. We'll talk about the months, the days of the week, the weather, things like that. Then in my classroom, we go outside after, where we have bikes, we have tires, hula hoops, and the jungle gym, if you're not aware about that. So then after, from outside, we come in for a snack. Children put their things away, they wash their hands, and they sit down for a snack. Excuse me. So after snack, the children will come back to our meeting area for work time meeting. And essentially work time meeting is our discussion of our unit. So whatever unit we're currently working on, that's the time where we'll talk about what we're learning. So this week we just started our new unit on the 5 senses. So during work time meeting, we'll talk about the body parts we use for our different senses. So after work time meeting, the children get to choose where they'd like to play. So our classrooms are center-based. So it's not like a desk. Every child has a desk. It's center-based. So there's science center, math center, dress up, art center, things like that. And they'll get to choose where they get to play. And then oftentimes we'll have assigned activities where we'll call children over to do an art project, math, counting, science experiment, things like that. So then after work time, we clean up and we have story time. Usually it's about our unit. Sometimes it's a silly fun Friday book, things like that. Then the children will have lunch. After lunch, they will go down to rest. Rest is roughly 30 minutes. For rest, children don't have to go to sleep. You can't force someone to sleep. So it's just a time to relax, calm your body. If you don't want to sleep, totally okay. Fine by me. After rest, we'll clean up, put our blankets away, and go into second work time, which is essentially the same as first work time. It's just in the afternoon. After that, we'll clean up again, have our second snack of the day, and then we'll go into another story time where we'll sing a song, a couple of songs, we'll play some games, and then we get ready for dismissal. So that's kind of roughly the flow of our day at Marble Hill.
Thank you, Michelle. I felt the same way about spending a day with 4-year-olds. can't get better, more fun company. And Natasha Moore
I am here.
is our wonderful head teacher in our other classroom, room 2. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, David. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you and great to be here. I will just basically go into first explaining a little bit about myself, but then also telling just a little bit about curriculum at Marble Hill Nursery. Natasha is my name that I go by. When the children can get it out, a lot of times I'm called Matasha this year and last year, which I take it. Um, I have a history, and my background actually history is in social work. So I have over 10 years in social work. I worked in various different facets in the social work field, from ACS, foster care, to kids on parole probation. Following that, I actually ran a daycare for 9 years. And then I decided, hey, why not go into education and have a total career change? So this is actually a second profession for myself in education. So I too have a master's from Lehman College. Wasn't there when Michelle was there, but definitely we came out of Lehman together. And now at Marble Hill Nursery School, and I have honestly lost count. I think it's year 4 for me at Marble Hill, or year 3. I've lost count at Marble Hill. I am the room 2 teacher, and one of the things I think that brought me into early childhood education is my desire to watch children actually grow in their development. I think one of the things I really enjoy is basically foundation. I believe education is totally a foundation for all children, whether it's their social development, but it's a foundation. I also believe that if you can empower children and really give them a strong foundation and have them believe that I can try, I can do it. And that's our motto for room 2, that when you walk out of pre-K, you actually think you can do anything, which is basically the onset. I really believe in confidence building in children. And that's why I love to work with young people. So in room 2, definitely we always say, we can try, we can try, we can do it. We even say, si se puedes. So that's our motto for room 2. In discussing our curriculum, as David mentioned, our curriculum basically comes from Bank Street, where it's an integrated curriculum. However, we do kind of pull from the DOE unit of studies, but we don't follow it as cookie cutter as the DOE's unit is. One of the things we definitely do is look at our children and their interest. Each year, there's always something different that tends to pop up. My first year at Marble Hill, I recall doing it. A planet study, because the children were so into space. So we actually discovered all the 9 planets, talked about the 9 planets, and incorporated it in many things that we did. Even had a child the following year to go and actually come back with a little blue penguin, and she had a stuffed animal and was so into penguins. So we began a unit study on penguins. So really, we just grab our curriculum from whatever we see that the children are into. One of the things we also do is look at the diversity in our classroom and the backgrounds of our children and where they come from. I'm a strong believer in parent involvement, and despite this year being a COVID year, I've actually utilized our remote sessions on Wednesdays to try to grab parents online to talk about their families, even send in pictures about their families if we can talk about it in the classroom, but also to make our remote students a part of the class so that everyone can learn about each other. So Michelle and I both do an All About Me study, where we definitely talk about our families. Michelle has started a treasure box where children can bring things in from home, so that we're integrating what's happening at home, where children are from, but also tying it into how can we learn about you as a child, as an individual. And it also gives the students a chance to learn about us and who we are, because I too bring in pictures and I introduce my reptile. So I tell them I'm a grandmother of a reptile. So they think that's a big joke, but just showing how we can just utilize. We've had parents that were from other countries, and we have a song that we try to each year in my room translate into as many languages as we can. And so the children are introduced to new languages. So it's tying different things into our curriculum so that it definitely goes across the board, and making sure that the children who are in the room learn about difference. One of our favorite books in room 2 is It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Parr. So we also tie talking about our differences into literature, whatever we can do. So it's really tying everything into all the different areas within the room. I'm gonna stop here and open the floor for questions because I think we can go on, but I think this is a great space.
Thank you, Natasha. That was really wonderful. Thank you both. We're gonna cover a couple more things. I'm keeping an eye on the chat box if there are questions, and definitely we will leave time at the end soon. I want to take a moment to thank all of the parents, board members who've helped with this evening. I'm not a tech person, but fortunately I have a lot of excellent and tremendously generous tech people around helping out. The last thing I wanted to show you tonight was a little video of the school. I filmed it. Spike Lee does not have to get nervous. It's not very glitzy. Really, I just wanted, this is all virtual, but you've got to have a chance to see the school. So I try to show you what a classroom looks like, what an outside space looks like. And it's definitely not an exhaustive look at everything that goes on here, but just a kind of a peek at some of the activities. So we'll look at that. So I think it's about 2 minutes. And then we'll see if there are questions. And we will definitely, thank you. Go ahead. Thank you, Kirsten.
Let's try again. And then they did it all by themselves. And then they made a big heart. And then they put the hood on. And then
Yay, thank you. I hope your appetite is whetted. I hope you're interested in joining our community for next year. And probably you are aware the enrollment period has been opened up by the DOE. And what you need to know, if you don't already, and we're going to be putting it in the chat box, there it is. Through April 7th. It's not first come, first serve. All applications are treated equally. It opened up February 24th, but it remains open through April 7th. You go to myschools.nyc, there'll be a drop-down menu. If to make Marble Hill Nursery School your first choice, I will see it when I get this from the Department of Education. And if you are planning to make Marble Hill Nursery School your first choice, feel free to drop me an email too, and I'll be looking for your name. We can be in touch. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time this evening. Another one of our wonderful parent volunteers, parent helpers, Jessica, was going to take a look in the chat. I don't know that there were any questions. We're all on the talkative side, so maybe we covered a lot of things.
Yeah, so there actually are some questions, and the first question that comes to mind is actually from me, and it's what do we do about meals? Where do they come from? What will that look like next year?
Marble Hill Nursery School provides the food for your children. You don't have to send anything in. We feed children quite a bit here. We have a morning snack, an afternoon snack, and a lunch. This year, we made the decision to go to a catering service that provides lunch, Butterbean's Kitchen. There were a lot of requirements for how food is served during the COVID crisis, and they take care of all that for us. So that was one of the reasons the board made that decision. I think that's worked out really well, and I expect that we'll do that again next year. And one thing definitely about them is they will meet any particular dietary requirements in terms of non-dairy, in terms of allergies, non-dairy, in terms of food preferences, such as vegetarian. So.
Yeah, thank you, David. So
Yeah.
we actually have a couple of questions about extended day and whether or not that's going to be happening in the fall.
That's a good question. I'm getting that question a lot from parents, also for our threes program. We were not able to offer an extended day program this year. We always did in the past. We offered what was known as wraparound, which provide up to 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., which certainly is very helpful, I realize, for working parents. We were not able to offer it. We have not been offering it this year, partly because we need extra time for cleaning the classrooms after they're empty. But also, more importantly, I would say, because we are treating each one of our classrooms as a distinct separate group. We have staggered times for drop off and pickup each day so that we don't have a big crowd of parents at one time. And offering an all day or extended day program has involved combining children and staff from different classrooms. So I don't have a definite answer for next year. We'll see how things develop for next year. We'll see how things develop during next year. But we are not planning to offer it at the beginning of the year. And I feel I just want to be upfront and honest about that, because I don't want to create an expectation that we might not meet. I don't want somebody to plan their lives around that, and then if we're not able to offer it. So stay tuned and we will see. One of the things about our schedule now is that for parents that are able to, usually most of our parents, if they're working and it's difficult, can do something like the morning drop off, where they drop their child off on the way to work and then have a babysitter who picks up the child in the afternoon. So that's what it's looked like more this year, and we'll see for next year.
Yeah, so more questions have come in.
Good.
So we have a question about how kids secure spots in UPK. Like, is there sibling priority? Are people that participate in 3K, guaranteed a spot in UPK. How does the DOE lottery tend to work for students who haven't, I guess, who aren't a part of that sibling priority or 3K?
We have three criteria for, is it three? We can give seats to children who are in our threes class here. Yeah, we do have three categories. Siblings. We reserve spots for siblings of children who went here. And we also give priority to families that live in the Marble Hill houses. Other than those categories, I get a long list of names from the Department of Education in probably May. And I start working my way through that list. And just between us, it's a little bit of a mystery sometimes how the DOE puts this together, because some of the names that are on my list don't live anywhere near the school. And I call them and they say, oh, Marble Hill Nursery School. And then I say, where are you? You're in that part of the Bronx? Well, I'm on the other side of the Bronx Zoo. So I usually end up working my way down through the list. I end up working my way to the names that I know are interested. For the last few years, we have started the year with 30, like this past year, some parents just chose not to do preschool because of circumstances. So we're having a night like this, we're putting out the word because we always have a little bit of a push to fill our seats. And it usually seems like we start the school year with 34 children, 36 children, and we can serve 40. And that's one of the reasons I also mentioned, if you're interested, please go to myschools.nyc, put Marble Hill Nursery School as your first choice, but also let me know, because I'll be looking at that list. I'll be waiting I'll be hoping to get to certain names. I'll be waiting. I'll be telling you, that you're only one away. Expect to hear from me soon. I'll be keeping you updated. But because we've always had seats to fill, we've usually been able to accommodate everyone who's interested. Nell and Scott are here. They were one of the families I was rooting for last year as the school year neared. Clarence was in Michelle's class last year.
Yeah, so a few more questions. There's a couple questions about costs and fees. One is there a fee for lunch? And the other is, what's the cost for extended care if it were to happen in the fall?
Our pre-K program is a New York City public free program. There are no costs. We don't charge for food. We don't give you a list of supplies you have to buy in the first few days of school. We had different packages for our extended day, depending whether people wanted up to 8 to 6, 8 to 4. The cost for the really full day, 8 to 6, when we last did it, was $684 a month. And I would expect it to be the same when we offer it. We haven't changed our tuition in several years.
All right. And another question about woodworking. There used to be a woodworking, component to the curriculum. Is that still happening?
This year, some of the extra things that we had, we were not able to offer because we didn't have teachers going back and forth from the different classrooms. So in the past, we've had a music teacher, a dance teacher. We had a teacher who was a head teacher here for many years. who always dreamed of doing more woodworking with her class and came back as a volunteer woodworking teacher. And I'm afraid that's something we'll just, again, have to wait and see for next year. One of the reasons it was critically important to me to have 3 teachers in each classroom this year. Some schools have gone to 2 teachers and 1 who just does remote, but I felt we really wanted to have 3 teachers to have some backup because we don't have teachers floating around, you know. Should circumstances arise where where 1 classroom has to quarantine, you don't want to have created a situation where 3 classrooms have to quarantine. So that's been the priority this year, and we will see about next year. Meanwhile, the children are getting a very enriched experience within their classrooms.
Okay. So if anybody has any other questions, please go ahead and drop them in the chat or come off of mute and just ask your question. You're welcome to do that. So I'm not seeing any additional questions right now in the chat, but again, please just jump right in and ask your question.
Whenever I do these kind of things, as soon as it's all over, I think of something I wish I mentioned. If you think of a question that you wish you asked or something you wish you'd mentioned, please email me. I'll pass along if it's something better answered by a teacher or board member, but don't hesitate to email.
And we do actually have one more question that just came in, and it's, do we follow the DOE calendar?
Yes. We follow the basic school calendar. If you Google NYC DOE calendar 2021, 2022.
Great. Looks like we have no more questions at this time.
All right. The last time I will mention myschools.nyc to enroll. Thank you to everyone who was here tonight. And thank you to Kirsten at the controls and Jessica moderating. Really nice to see everybody. Thank you.